but 10 dispatchers will reduce into 3.
Different kind of task.
Currently, their dispatching is, for example, Los Angeles and traffic system, maybe 20 people is observing, but will reduce to 5 to 6.
Okay.
These kind of things will happen, but not eliminated.
So, for example, like a Tokaido Shinkansen, also the
The
traffic
same,
system.
same.
I think it's gonna be easy because
Yes.
already only how can say
Exactly.
totally control only tracks, right?
Exactly.
Like the Toneri line is
Toneri
completely
line,
unmanned
yeah,
train
yes.
right now.
What's that?
It's a kind of like a
Tunnel line is a
It's-
new transportation like a Yuri Kamome.
it's above the street.
near Omiya, right?
It's this the monorail. It's a monorail.
I think the tire,
By the way,
anyway,
by the way, Shinkansen is manual driving.
yeah, still
Yes.
man driving,
Yeah.
still man driving, but the ATC system is totally automatically.
And-
There are no traffic signal.
No, exactly.
Everything is like how can I say the ATC controls the traffic's cruising speed is totally like
Automated.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, next.
So Toneri line is 100% automated. Next one, I'm also skeptical. Waiters.
Huh?
Waiters.
What is that? Waiters.
Waiters, serving
Waiting
Oh,
tables.
waiters,
Sabas.
waiters.
Yeah, service.
Waiters.
But if I go to the fancy restaurant, I want to serve by beautiful girls.
Yeah, no, that's true.
What do you think about that? Probably they can do that, but I don't wanna.
Beautiful girl.
Yeah,
Just,
like hotas, but the hotas are a little bit different. But like
No, I don't care. Beautiful bringing the
Okay.
plate. But I'm watching her. By the way, recording. I can tell that. Okay, anyway.
Okay,
Waiters.
waiters maybe for some. Like if you, I mean, for sometimes I don't mind getting the food. Depends a little bit on the
yeah,
restaurant.
exactly.
Bank tellers. I've been waiting for that to happen, but
We don't
bank
need-
staff is still enormously large.
We don't need
But
So you mean in Japan or
everywhere.
Japan.
Japan especially.
Also,
Oh,
the
yeah.
banking, not only bank tellers, but also they don't need salespeople. Salespeople visiting many customers, right?
Yeah.
They don't need.
No, but still they do.
Right, but they don't need.
And since there is no interest,
Okay,
they
I
don't
tell
make any
you,
money.
we don't need bank anymore.
Well,
What?
that's actually
I tell you,
cryptocurrency.
currently is no. I'm talking about currently in Japan, 10 or 20 banks, but it's just one bank is good enough for us. The bank,
Like the Netherlands.
right? The bank, every kind, Japanese Bank of Japan and the bank. 2 banks is good enough for us, right? What?
Maybe
It would be better. It would
Could be better. Yes, of course.
Well, there's one thing, of course, like okay, banking. Banking is basically a representation of so people who can give a good recommendation about investment and about how to invest
Bank?
your money. I mean,
No kidding.
technically speaking, they should have like
I tell you,
industry experts.
I'm doing business with security company,
Mm.
and they recommend me that you should invest money for this stock. 100% is wrong. If they can recommend me the right answer for me,
They wouldn't be working there.
They should be
Yeah,
rich.
actually, every weekend call from the bank. So how about the new product or blah blah blah. So every time I reject.
Oh, so.
Or
Yeah, but
means,
They call for their interest. Yeah.
So it's actually, to be honest, it's annoying. It's annoying for me.
No,
So
okay.
you don't need. Okay.
So bank tellers, but still they have a lot. I think once the banks start to grow up in Japan and start to work together and create some kind of like shared interest, doesn't work. In the Netherlands, we have all the banks have invested in one central bank. So all the transactions, etc., they go transparently from one bank to the other. So basically, we have the system that Uno-san described. Of course, we have different banks, different brands, but actually they all have bought this into this central banking organization. It's kind of a clearinghouse.
We don't need any discrimination.
Because in Japan it's like
Mhm.
ridiculous. You can't make any transaction after 3 p.m. or something. Like,
Yes.
Are you kidding me? This is like.
Oh, by the way,
It's a
African
happy
no,
nation,
no
right?
problem,
Yeah.
no problem. You go downstairs, you can get the money any kind.
Yeah, you can get money. That's not the problem. But it's basically it's not
No,
connected.
sending the money to the.
Not connected, but if you're going
It's
to
not
deposit
connected.
money, but you can use this ATM machine. They are connecting every bank.
Mm.
Yeah, but it's not connected, so it's not real time.
Yeah.
No, I
It's
just
not
put-
real time.
I tell you, I just put in the money
Mm.
because last week my wife spent a lot of money, so I went back. I put in 200,000 yen for this understand and
What
downstairs
is it?
200,000 deposit
Okay.
money, and immediately reflected to my bank account here. And Japan Net Bank immediately, 1 minute.
Japan net banking is.
We put money, I bring
But
money.
you brought it to your own bank, right?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
No. That
Um,
that is
Yeah, yeah.
that is
yeah.
good. But if you would have done it, put it into
I know,
into
I know.
a different bank, well, forget it. Next
And
day.
Yeah,
Japan
next
Net
day.
Bank, Japan Net Bank to the security bank, 15 seconds.
Yes, because we are talking about
It's just
big
a-
banking,
Mitsubishi
the
kind of
Mitsubishi
big,
to
big,
Mizuho, something
Yeah.
like that.
see you tomorrow.
The next day,
Yeah.
see you tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
We are
So
sleeping
annoying.
right now. we switched off the electricity.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Which one?
Military.
Oh, military.
ミリタリーは
Okay.
結構あり得る。
Military. No. Military is no man. This robotics and
Yeah, I-
drone.
Yeah, but special forces is
we
probably
need-
human. Special forces.
What the?
Special forces, like on the ground. troops on the
Underground
ground.
forces like
You need
Delta
ground
Force
forces.
or Green Beret or special team like some SEALs, probably SEALs try to arrest the leader of ISIL.
Yes.
So I think this kind of troops
Al-Baghdadi.
need a real soldier. I think.
Yes, that's why they
dog and
abused.
robotics.
They abused
Right?
the Kurdish fighters
Yeah.
to be their special forces.
Yeah,
And
I
while the
think-
Americans brought in the planes, they used the Kurdish to fight on the ground, and then they basically Trump said,
Yeah,
"Oh,
I think normal troops
he
is
just
don't
handed them over to the Turkish." Like,
But the next 5 years, I think robot against the robot battle.
fight between
Against-
robots. What?
Robot
so please
against the robot.
explain.
Yeah, between robots.
No,
Fight between robots.
People against the robots.
Yeah, but
Like a Terminator.
Iran, Turkey,
Uh-huh.
every Middle East country they have drone. Okay,
Ah,
and
that's a
battle
robot
is
is a drone. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
drone and also physical robot,
Ah.
physical tank, Norman operation tank.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is tank to tank is nobody,
Yeah.
so they hit each other. This is
It's ridiculous.
this is happening.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but no, no operation, no human tank and no human tank.
Exactly.
Hit each other is like ridiculous.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Iran
Instead
has
of
any kind of non-man weaponry, okay,
Yeah.
and they can operate with any kind. Get into Syria.
Yeah.
I don't know how many
Yeah,
their
it's
weaponry
really-
get into Syria, but actually they are doing. This is a new
Yeah.
New war.
new war.
Yeah.
Yeah. American articles they have a lot. Okay, next.
Fast food workers.
Huh?
Fast food workers.
Fast
Are you?
food worker.
Oh, really?
I
It's
did.
difficult. For example, like McDonald's.
Fast food
Why not? It's
worker.
very easy. It's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
much
just fast food
standardized procedures. Everything
Get
is
inside
from the
and
manual.
get inside and we
like a
just
choose
Yeah, I mean already in the
Already
Netherlands
in the-
we have for
application.
40 years already. You can get the food directly out of a wall.
no. I'm talking about this one is the chatbot.
Chatbot, yeah, that's also possible. But we already have this culture for 40 years that you can just get your hamburger you just put money and just take it
No,
out of
not
the wall.
automatic
Oh,
machine.
Yeah.
Not automatic machine. This is chatbot. Okay, we're going to get in the shop and give me that double
Doesn't
burger
No,
and,
this is a
and
two.
iced
You are
coffee.
talking about two, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
two
So
iced
this is
coffee
a-
and just chatbot reply you. Okay, you need to pay 545 cents. Okay, paid. Just could you wait 1 minute? Okay, just wait.
yeah.
No.
This is chatbot.
Yeah, you are talking about chatbot. The chatbot can use the like system, but
Yeah.
the Edo-san already they have a system
This is automatic
automation, right?
automatic machine. But
Yeah, but it's very simple.
But
Anyway,
the both,
anyway.
both are Norman, right?
Yeah.
okay,
exactly.
chatbot they have deep learning.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
know.
okay,
I know
for example,
what you mean.
do you know what chatbot means?
No, but
Deep
why
learning
would you-
means okay. I'm going to tell Big Mac,
Uh-huh.
Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac. They recognize Big Mac.
Yeah.
This is deep
No,
learning.
this is a deep learning the topic, right?
Yeah.
Not fast food, right?
This is fast
Fast
food
food.
is okay. Just Japanese speaking, American speaking, French people speaking. They can have 1,000 sample of voice.
Mhm.
They recognize. Oh, this is Big Mac, not double burger. This kind of cheese. Okay, cheese. So kind of they can automatically recognize and then deliver to the customer.
Yes,
This is
yesterday
a deep learning.
I was in a pub with a French guy,
Oh,
French guy.
and as you
Japan?
probably know,
Mhm.
French people have a terrible pronunciation
In English?
in English.
Oh, yeah.
So we were talking about Siri and versus
Siri, yeah.
Hello Google, right? And so he was making a joke like Google doesn't understand me. Hello Google doesn't work.
So, hello.
so because his pronunciation is so terrible.
They don't, it's Ash.
But recently, yeah. go
He
ahead.
he got his phone out and then he gave a question to his phone, and it was like in his French pronunciation, but actually his phone got it. Then
Very.
I took his phone and I asked something in English. The phone didn't get it. The phone didn't get it. But actually, so what Uno-san is saying,
Deep learning.
it's learning.
All right.
It's learning the pronunciation of this guy, so it's kind of adjusting because it's his account. So they kind of got used to his pronunciation, and they actually start to understand it.
So maybe many people that don't recognize automatic machine, push button, put in coin, product coming out. But chatbot is different. Chatbot using just many people different pronunciation, and they have different accent. But the example is 10,000, 20,000 voice example. They study.
Started running.
Study. So if you're going to speak out on 100 layers,
Ono-san, what you are talking about is the next one, telemarketeers. That's
telemarketing.
yeah, that's actually we use this.
Telemarketing is just outbound call.
Well, it could be inbound, outbound.
Inbound, outbound
The
call,
problem
right?
is people need to be able to understand and interpret the question
Yeah.
and give back the information. So it's
Yeah.
it's a self-learning
So
system.
beforehand, almost impossible to recognize many people, the customer. But now it's possible. Any kind of people is Afghanistan people speaking now. It's kind of strange Japanese, but recently deep learning understand.
Okay.
The next one is an interesting one. I wonder what your opinion is. Accountants.
Oh, we don't need any accountant.
Yeah.
だけど accountancy it's not a science issue. It's basically really an art. I don't think
Art? You said
an art. I think it's just like statistics. It's a little bit like you interpret it a little bit. You just move it a little bit here. There are some rules, but there is a lot of gray.
Okay.
between the rules.
Okay. One example like this.
Yeah, you a financial. I think a financial account is like not art, but like a management account is art.
Yes.
This
So,
is what I
but
understand.
simple
Depends.
adding
Right.
receipts into the
Depends.
system, we
Depends.
can automate that. But
I-
actually, the
yeah.
accounting, interpreting the numbers, and how we're going to give a tax statement, for example, that's more of an art than an absolute science. So
You
the
mean
simple
how-
things
how
like
to
receipts,
reduce tax?
yes,
Statement?
for example.
Oh yeah, you need to
Yeah.
lot of experience.
So that's actually we still need accountants,
how
but
to-
for the
how to
simple things,
Yeah.
of course.
How to translate tax?
But tax office inspector is still man, I think.
Actually, in EY,
Well-
in EY, we use a lot of technology to automate.
Oh, really?
Yes, we do drones and AI to analyze
Oh, really?
financial streams, etc., and to to spot anomalies, like things that are a bit strange, that do not follow a certain pattern. So technology is actually being used to analyze whether there's fraud and things like that.
So you mean the tax office, the government tax
Yes.
office, will not need to be
Not everything one by one, but they can focus on where things seem to be a bit off.
Interesting. Okay.
So they can find these things, and they double check. You also need to, you cannot only look at the books, you also need to look at the reality, right? So the books need to represent the reality. It's not only whether people put the wrong numbers in the books, it's also whether what's in the books actually is reality. So there is an integration with the AI technology plus what is observed, for example, via drones and via real images.
Okay.
Yeah, they actually they use it. Yeah, they use
Really?
it. Yeah.
How
Wow.
are you going to use it for?
It's audit technology.
But how do we find for some if some parents died, so someone keep the cash to somewhere in the house. So
Right.
how do we find out? That?
So
So that's why the inspector
right. So what I'm more talking about is, for example, that if they say, let's say, for example, that this is a wood company, right? A wood company is okay. We sold this much wood, but that wood came from somewhere, right? So they have been cutting trees. So they need to see, okay, need to compare imagery from last year compared to this year, and how much wood has actually been cut. You can kind of safely tell if the wood supply is depleted by 20%, if you know how much wood there was, and that is not reflected in the revenue, there's obviously something wrong. What happened to the wood? It's a very simple example, but how much money was there? That's probably more looking into the history, because that money needs to come from somewhere.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So it's kind of comparing things and looking for consistency. And if that consistency doesn't exist, then it's a reason to start an audit.
Oh, interesting.
That's how AI has been used in accountancy. But you need to ask. So you can get a lot of data, and there's a lot of artificial things that comes out of it. But then you need a human to actually interpret. Okay, where do we need to look from here? How are we going to analyze where?
So I remember one example. So Chicago PD use a AI dispatch or something like that. So every morning, so the AI instruction about the police car number, blah blah blah, go to this area and patrol this one. So
Yes.
do you know?
I
have you
actually-
had this example? Chicago PD use a AI dispatcher.
What do you mean
Dispatcher?
PD?
I actually worked for the city of Leiden in the Netherlands.
I'm sorry,
The
which
city of Leiden in
Leiden.
Leiden
Oh.
in the Netherlands, and it was about not traffic control, but about parking fees, and so we need to send out the police to patrol certain areas. But to do that, we actually gathered data from how much money was being collected. So you set certain standards and say, okay, well, if more money is being collected from this area, we need to have more control, because there's obviously pressure on the parking system. Plus, we set certain minimum levels. For example, we need to control it at least twice a month on all the other areas. Based on that, you can make a scheme. It's not artificial.
Okay.
It's nothing to do with artificial, but you can create a base
It's
scheme.
kind of that.
After you got that base scheme, you need to add your own personal intelligence and say, oh, but wait a minute, we have a special event over there and over there, so we need to have extra staff over here. So you can already do. So we shouldn't really exaggerate the artificial element here. It's a little bit.
I have a simple question for you, accounting firm. Do you have big data? in
It's
your
not my
company?
accounting firm yet.
Right? Big data you have. So my recent study, okay, big data means okay, I have my client, financial statement here, and the financial statement put in the system. If you have big data and the financial statement, we're going to this big data, we're going to judge. Your financial statement is very risky, dangerous, or you have some called future or some current situation. What's going on? the big data will going to make judgment, right? Are you doing that?
I don't know.
Okay, this is my question. I have 4-5 consecutive, quarter financial statement, 4 to 5. Okay, past 5 and now, and could you guess next 5 financial statement?
Oh yeah. Well, of course.
This kind of trend.
But I don't know whether that is they use big data for that or they just.
This is big data. This is deep learning. Past 5 years in financial statement, and how to make estimate next 5 years. Using current huge database.
But this is what humans have been doing. So far, this is what humans have been doing.
Yeah, this is kind of the trend is big data and deep learning.
Well, technically speaking, if you are the head of a company like Unilever, you have like shampoos, foods, and all these things, and you put your performance into that system and you put that against consumer trends.
Exactly.
Like, okay, we see consumers, we see a lot of more people coming up in Africa, so we see the demographic movement in Africa plus the economic movement in Africa.
Exactly.
Therefore, we can already forecast that the demand for our shampoos in Ghana will be much higher, so we can actually already forecast that the revenue for
and
shampoo.
Industry and some this company product, and also the companies, how much they invest R&D, and sort of 20-30 parameter put in the system.
I don't know where already.
The system is will going to automatically select not all of those, or 4 or 5 items from this parameter. Then they're going to make judgment. So sort of system is deep learning.
I don't know whether we have that much data already.
Maybe
we can cross-reference.
You don't do it yet.
Probably.
I cannot make system yet, but this is a new technological trend. I'm studying so far. So example, I just recommended to Takashi's company. They're going to build IT R&D in Singapore. Why not doing that? But company, nobody cannot image of IT innovation. What kind of item need to be prepared for the Singapore company? I told them deep learning. Okay, next.
Stock traders. Yeah.
What?
Stock traders. Stock traders.
Stock trader.
Stock traders. Yeah.
Stock trader.
Yeah.
Stock trader.
We don't need that. We don't need
Stock
that.
trader.
We don't need people to call you. You need to buy this stock. They're always off. Nobody trusts them. Everybody hates them, and everybody knows that you're being screwed.
Yes.
Yes.